when your mind is not your own. Lonely is the night when there's no one left to call. You feel the time is right, say the writing's on the wall, yeah. It's a
This is In the Know for Friday, November 20, the 325th day of 2020. There are 41 days left in the year. Good morning, MP, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 103.9 The Moose. Live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast on Facebook. Watch on YouTube Live on Periscope. And the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we will update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. It is the last weekend before the big Thanksgiving holiday. Got some new restrictions going into effect this afternoon at 5 o'clock, and that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beej. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's Friday. Yay!
You're happy about it?
Yeah.
You're one of the, you are someone who likes cranberry sauce. You like cranberry as part of your Thanksgiving meal.
I do, yes.
I make a cranberry chutney that you seem to like, that maybe it's
So
preferred
good.
to the typical cranberry sauce or the cranberry relish. But there aren't very many of you. The wide majority of people do not care for, they do not care for cranberry.
I love cranberry.
But yet it's on 94% of Thanksgiving tables. So do you think people chose to like it because it's always available? Like, well, nobody's going to fight me for the cranberry sauce, so I can have some of
Maybe.
that. But you like the chutney variety is what you're saying.
Yeah,
You
that's
like
my
that?
preference. I love the way that you make it.
If it's got that can shape in there, those can scallops
Oh,
in there, it
but
just
I can
looks
still do
kinda
that.
weird. Yeah, I understand you can. He's the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio News Hawk Award, 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: Washington, London, Moscow, Paris, and even Millwood. It's Sam Gormley and the sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. I'm excited. We're going to talk about high school football coming up later
right.
on the show today.
It's only been a month.
It's been a while since we've done that. We're going to be able to do that. I'm also happy to report today I found some exciting news in the way of a survey, and it really verifies, solidifies, confounds, and proves to Dennis Cook that I'm right and he's wrong. And it's a new survey that says after Thanksgiving is still the most common time to decorate for Christmas. In fact, it's the day after Thanksgiving that is the widest selected day for decorating for Christmas. So doing it in the end of September is just wrong.
I could go even further. December 1st is when I say Thanksgiving needs to have come and gone.
You
before
need Thanksgiving weekend to go
Yeah,
before you?
Yes, before
All
I
right.
even consider.
Even,
I like that.
Even more
So-
of a hardliner on it. You're digging
Yes,
in. I like
December
it.
1st.
All right. I was curious about you and where you stood on that.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, being a bachelor, I will presume you don't go all out with Christmas
So
decorations.
the first year I was here, I put out I have a little Christmas tree that's about so big, and last year I did not.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a spot for it.
Well, we'll have to find
So,
a spot. It's 2020. You got to have a tree somewhere.
It's a blue one, so it's a UK tree.
That's good. 3 in 10 people wait. 7 of 10 wait until after Thanksgiving to start putting up decorations. The most common times include the day after Thanksgiving. That's 25% of those people do that, and after Thanksgiving. But before December is 24%. So otherwise, people are doing it in that rough time. It's what I'm telling you. Artificial trees have elongated that season because it enabled people to start putting their tree up on September the 28th. Or was it the 26th? Do you remember? 2 days.
I don't have the picture anymore. It's something along that. Way too early.
2 days may make a difference.
3 months before Christmas.
Rain chances increase this weekend. We're going to see breezy with gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour today. Rain chances will really ramp up on Sunday with a cold front moving through. This will bring widespread rain to the region for the end of the weekend. The expectation, by the way, for Thursday, kind of give you the early line on what to expect for Thanksgiving Day. The 20% chance of rain for Thursday right now, kind of too far to really solidify that, and 60 will be the approximate high for your Turkey Day. So, but for today, increasing clouds, 68, mostly cloudy, 52 tonight, scattered showers, and 60 with a rain chance of 30% for tomorrow. The CDC, Center for Disease Control, is begging people to stay home at Thanksgiving. They're saying, please, with the coronavirus surging out of control, the nation's top public health agency pleaded with Americans yesterday not to travel for Thanksgiving and not to spend the holiday with people from outside their household. It was some of the firmest guidance yet from the government on curtailing traditional gatherings to fight the outbreak. Dr. Aaron Schatz said the safest way to celebrate Thanksgiving this year is at home with the people in your household. That's according to the CDC. I have a feeling Governor Andy Beshear, given an opportunity, would tell you something similar. In his daily briefing yesterday, gave you 3,649 new cases. He said we being Kentucky, have experienced a 400% increase in COVID-19 cases over the last 9 weeks. In November, the state recorded 41,171. That's the November total.
How long did it take us to get to 41,000? From the start, probably July?
Yeah. Well, it was, easily. It took us that long. It's just been compounding. As of yesterday, 112 of Kentucky's counties are in the red zone, 30 new deaths. Bringing the state total to 1,742, positivity rate 9.18. Hospitalizations were neutral, fell by 3, but to 1,550. But people on ventilators rose by 23 people, up to 199. And the governor's asking church leaders to make different decisions for the next 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. The new requirements that go into effect this afternoon from the governor, restaurants and bars. So most of these rules run through December 13th is what they're advising. No indoor food or beverage consumption at restaurants and bars. Private social gatherings up to 8 people from a maximum of 2 households. It was funny to me. I saw the meme being shared yesterday of the Last Supper. Christ was with all the disciples and said, Andy says some of you all have to leave, to get down to your 8 people. Gyms, fitness centers, pools, and other indoor recreation facilities, venues, event spaces, and theaters, professional services limited to 33% capacity. Schools, middle and high schools will remain in remote or virtual instruction until at least January 4th. Elementary schools may be reopened for in-person instruction December 7th if their county is not in a red zone. I will tell you, it's going to be a lot of terrain to travel between now and December 7th to get out of the red zone, because we've not seen a flattening yet. So to be able to reverse course and get back to an orange or a yellow, I have some doubts about their ability to do that, but it's a goal to work toward, and that will be okay. Governor Beshear is asking houses of worship to stop indoor services for the next few weeks. He says the virus is spreading so fast right now, and I think that we have at least 35 examples in the last 6 weeks of spread in and around a house of worship. Not just worship services, but potlucks and others. My recommendation to them, which was the Kentucky Council of Churches that he spoke to, was to do virtual-only services through the same period, that we are asking other people to certainly change the way they're doing things. So he knows. He ordered back in March and April and said no in-person worship. And that decision was struck down, and he knows that he can't go that far. But it doesn't mean that he can't plead with leaders with congregations, with boards, with elders and deacons, with pastors, with ministers, with clergy to say, I need your help in letting people worship remotely for the next 3 to 4 weeks. And if we can do it for 3 to 4 weeks, maybe we're able to worship in person for Christmas. And so he's sort of treating everything more broadly. He's not pointing out churches, but he is saying churches are included in these groups that really don't need to be gathering if I can get your help on that. And maybe it will be heard a little bit differently. I think church leadership are more likely to say, it's probably practical that we do this rather than being mandated and told that they have to do something. And I think that's where it's a little bit different. So I'm going to circle back to church in just a minute on maybe how to approach that. The Grayson County Health Department, I think, Sam, you talked with them last hour?
Yeah, talked with Jenny Cummings.
New
numbers, 31 new cases in Grayson County since Tuesday, so that's 74 over the past week. We did have 1 new death since Tuesday, though, so there have been 3 deaths this week, so we now have 23 deaths in Grayson County.
I have been asking the question, if you've been with us the last couple of weeks, I've been asking, where are these cases? Where are these cases coming from? Again, as I've also said, I live in a pretty closed circuit. My routines and habits don't really change much. I've been going to the same places since March and just continuing that process and trying to stay out of places that I don't need to be, wearing a mask when I have to, limiting access to our building, etc. And I said, where are these cases coming from? Can anyone really answer that? And Grayson County's Health Department has issued some contact tracing information and says that the most frequent causes that they're able to identify are extended family and friends. Then the second most common is the workplace. The third most frequent cause is church and church-related activities. After church, it's healthcare, like frontline workers, etc. And then school and sports are 5th and 6th, but a large number of undetermined. A lot of people, they're not able to say, well, they're not able to trace it to a definitive source. So here's where I would like to, I guess it's a request. You certainly don't have to listen to me any more than you listen to the governor or anyone else for that matter. And if you've not yet seen, if you still believe this is fake, if you still believe this is not real, there's going to be very little that I could say or do that's probably going to change your opinion. Because I think you've doubled and tripled and quadrupled down so much, so many times that the ability to listen to reason and logic, we passed that milestone long ago. But what I am going to do is I'm going to ask you if you are attending a congregation of believers in Christ, and that congregation is not distancing or wearing masks, I beg of you to do something different. I'm not saying don't go, and I'm not saying don't worship, but I am telling you that if you are going to a house of worship without a mask or without distancing from your fellow congregants, you are taking a huge chance on the spread of this, and that's something that can easily be remedied. It will not change your spirit. It will not change your presence. It will not change your attendance record. But I know there are houses of worship within Grayson County that are not following any of the CDC guidelines. And I beg you, please do something different. It will have a huge impact on slowing the spread of this virus. And so church leaders have important decisions to make in the next 3 to 4 weeks and being asked to say, and you're going to find congregations like ours that may not do anything different because we've been following all of the, like wearing masks and distancing, not having a choir, not singing out loud, communion that is prepackaged, etc. You'll find churches that say we may be mitigating the risk as much as is really possible without having to do anything different. But then there are those congregations that have gotten either lax or chosen to ignore what the request or the advice was, and that's where the real danger is. Now, Grayson County Superintendent Doug Robinson is explaining and talking about students transitioning back to virtual learning and kind of encouraging students and parents how to do that and what that looks like about middle and high schools and how long they'll be and what elementary school ambitions might be, et cetera. And I would just, in the same way we talk about churches, I would say this: please don't let your students come home from school and then just go run at the store or go to sleepovers and pizza parties. And if you're going to do those things, then they have to wear masks. And so it doesn't mean because you get out of one thing that you're free to do another thing. It takes everyone with an oar rowing in the same direction to change the numbers and the trajectory that we are experiencing here in Kentucky and really nationally. You can like Dr. Fauci or you can not like Dr. Fauci, but he had a very good analogy day before yesterday that if you are fighting, like in the Old West, if you're having a fight, and I think he used maybe the cowboys, and it's not the term Indians, like the old movies that we see, is that when you're waiting for the cavalry to come. Like that was the climax of these old Western movies. The cavalry was on the way to save you. You don't stop shooting when you're in a battle, but even though you know the cavalry is on the way. And so that's what he's saying is keep doing the things you're doing while the vaccines get populated out to the areas that they need to be. And I saw this morning that maybe Moderna might have 20 million doses of the vaccine in people, or at least distributed by the end of December. And that's a large number. I mean, 20 million is a significant number. How long it takes to get it in people's arms, I don't know.
You made the point about Dolly but you didn't realize that Moderna is 95%, so it's 9 to 5.
That is right. Vaccine, yes. And it's working 9 to 95.
Exactly.
Working 95. You can read about it online. Scams during the COVID-19 pandemic are up by 8,000% compared to previous years. People trying to lure those who might be looking for work. They might be posing as job recruiters or other people. So LaDonna Cobles, the executive director of the Attorney General's Office of Senior Protection and Mediation, she looks out for not only seniors, but also a lot of people working from home or unemployed. They become prey, predators looking. Generally, they'll ask for money to buy recruitment materials or training guides or things like that. So just be careful about that. And a firearm theft investigation has led to the arrest of an Elizabethtown man for strangling his girlfriend. Earlier this week, E-Town police arrived at Hawkins Drive, on a Hawkins Drive residence where the occupants reported firearms had been stolen from the home. While police were in the area, officers heard screams coming from a nearby mobile home park. At the mobile home park, they found a woman with red marks on her neck, curled up on her back, crying. The victim's voice was hoarse and she had trouble speaking. When questioned by police, 21-year-old Kelly Davidson said, "I just choked her after becoming mad at the victim for something that she said." There have been 2 times this week that my brand of justice, I think, would apply. We had a really nasty story about some guy earlier this week in Elizabethtown, the way he treated a young boy because he didn't like the way he behaved. And so I think that maybe this guy should get choked, right? You want to choke somebody else? All right, your punishment is to get choked, and see how that works out. A Kentucky man has been accused of illegally killing a trophy deer on private property in the state and then lying about where it happened. Conservation officers began investigating the killing earlier this month after receiving a photo of the dead animal that had been circulating online. This is according to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife. The officers met with Robert Cook. Authorities say Cook told them he shot the buck on private property in Kenton County after getting permission to hunt there, but the landowner told officers that no one had permission to hunt on the property. So apparently there's a telecheck system that hunters have to use to report their harvest. And so through an investigation of that and meeting with him, he has been charged with improperly reporting the harvest, hunting on private property without permission, and illegally killing the deer, but then Also, they found marijuana and drug paraphernalia, and so he could face additional charges. Okay, so there's a little bit of setup that I have to do for this next story, which would ordinarily be a quick one. But Miss Buckles, I assume you don't know the name Ja Morant, correct?
No.
Don't know that name. All right.
No.
So a couple of years ago at Murray State University, probably one of the best college basketball players in the state of Kentucky that year was Ja Morant.
Oh, yeah, he definitely was the best player in the state of Kentucky.
Was
Yeah,
best player.
for
And
sure.
he went on to the NBA where he became, he is playing for the Memphis Grizzlies. So he went from Murray, Kentucky, and then and now he's in the NBA in Memphis. So Ja, his first name is J.A. Morant, right? Great young man, great talent. The Memphis Zoo has announced that they have named their new giraffe. Now, I know you love giraffes, and I know you love
do
pictures
love
of giraffes. So Memphis, because they love their hometown team, have named their new giraffe Jaraffe for Ja Morant. So
I like it.
they love the Grizzlies team. They love Ja Morant. And so
It's creative.
Jaraffe is the name of the
I love
new
it.
giraffe at the Memphis Zoo. So good for them. Great job. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got plenty more on the way. Hang around here on In the Know.
The wake up early, do a little studying, take the dog out, finish that audiobook,
Until the very end.
finish that workout, then stop by McDonald's for breakfast and somehow manage to do it all before that 10 a.m. meeting meal. There's a meal for every morning at McDonald's.
Like a savory sausage biscuit and hash browns bundle or sausage McMuffin and hash browns bundle for just $2 each. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
Tomorrow. Coach Stoops and the Cats travel to Tuscaloosa to take on the top team in the West.
We're going to turn it on.
Alabama Crimson Tide and your Kentucky Wildcats.
The Cats on K105 are brought to you by the Sicilian Bank. Tune in to Countdown to Kickoff 1 p.m. tomorrow on K105.
Successful small business owners know that having an ally in decoding the data of your business performance is vital. A trusted source that can interpret financial reports, advise on tax code, and assess overall performance can be the difference between sleepless nights and peace of mind. The certified public accounting firm of Buckles, Travis, and Hart is your ally in making sure your business is performing at an optimum level. Call or contact today to find out how Buckles, Travis, and Hart can help fine-tune your business to create peak performance. 270-259-5604. GraysonCPAs.com.
Beehive Assisted Living in Litchfield is seeking caregivers for their beautiful 16-room assisted living community. They believe that care means something different to each of their residents, so they need staff members able to provide unique and special care. Currently seeking caregivers both full and part-time for all shifts. They can work around college schedules, and if you're without experience, Beehive will be happy to train you. Apply in person at Beehive Assisted Living, 1417 Brandenburg Road in Litchfield.
Hey, look, a box of Christmas photos.
Aw, did you see this one? Remember that talking teddy bear we gave to Junior?
Huge win. Almost worth the frostbite waiting for the store to open on Black Friday.
Almost. These days, the only thing I'd be willing to brave the cold for is a new iPhone.
You know, funny you'd say that. This Black Friday, Bluegrass Cellular has iPhone 11 for $15 a month.
That sounds like a deal worth braving the cold for.
Even better news? You don't have to. Black Friday lasts all week long at Bluegrass Cellular, so we'll have plenty of time to shop.
Perfect. Just think of all the new memories we'll capture with iPhone 11 this holiday season.
I know. We can capture all our holiday cheer with this stunning video quality.
Sold. I'm ready to shop now.
Since when are you excited to shop?
Since I can buy a new phone from my old phone and go pick it up.
Ah, very clever of you.
Restrictions apply. Available now in-store or online. Bluegrass Cellular. Black Friday expanded.
Amazon smart glasses are now available. The new Echo frames basically are an easy way to use the Alexa voice assistant during your everyday outings once the glasses are paired with your phone. You'll be able to perform standard Bluetooth headphone tasks like listening to music. The design looks more or less like a regular pair of thick-frame glasses. Amazon is also partnering with lens crafters to make it even easier for customers who use prescription lenses to get lenses on the smart glasses. The new Echo frames are available to pre-order now ahead of a December 10th release and will cost $250. Facebook partnering with BTS and will offer characters inspired by the Korean boy band members that will be accessible on chats and videos using Facebook Messenger and Instagram. Consumer Reports is no longer recommending Tesla's Model S, saying it has problems with its air suspension, main computer, and touchscreen controls. And for good measure, CR says the Model Y has body hardware and paint problems. Tech Report, Larry Olson.
And I don't know where I've been looking, and I don't care where you have been before, but I'm thankful to be here.
Today is International Stand Up to Bullying Day.
I like that.
So do I.
It is Name Your PC Day. I've never named my PCs. Well, that's not true.
I've called it names before, but probably none that I can share.
That's not true. All of the PCs in the building are named.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't know, but I used to name PCs in the building based upon just locations. We had Chicago, we had Miami, we had Maui, we have all. I mean, it's just it made sense because when people didn't understand networking, it was like, well, you need to travel this data over to Chicago and drop it off.
Yeah. I've named my laptops. So
We had servers that Zeus, Thor, and Venus. When we had mail servers and web servers in the building. So I first said I don't name PCs. I'm like, yes, apparently I do.
yeah, you do.
It's Peanut Butter Fudge Day
Ooh.
today.
You'd like that.
It is Absurdity Day today. So a chance to put your hair in pigtails or wear your shirt like you like or wear loud clothing or whatever. Just, you don't want to do something that requires bail money. So not too absurd. Tomorrow is Pumpkin Pie Day, National Stuffing Day tomorrow. It's also World Hello Day tomorrow. And then Sunday is Cranberry Relish Day today. So for those of you that are interested. Sam, are you a little bit rusty, you think? Do you still know how to call a high school football game tonight? You're going to get your chance.
Yeah, I think I do. I mean, we're ready. It's kind of been one of those things that we thought we were going to have one, and then nope, it's not going to happen, and then maybe is it going to be this, and then no, it's not, and it just kind of was one thing after another, and then we thought we were going to play last Friday, and that didn't happen, so now, I mean, as of right now, we're still planning on playing tonight at 7 o'clock in Mayfield.
Mayfield at 7 o'clock. I hope so.
I hope so. But as we've learned this year, we can never be too confident.
I think we should have known before now if it wasn't going to happen. But yes, I suppose, we're always just a positive test away from things changing or something happening, or who knows, the bus may get a flat tire. You just don't know. You don't know what might happen. So Graves County, though, made this is the second meeting this season between these two teams. Grayson County traveled to Graves County already once this season, and it was completely lopsided. Was that the first shutout of the year for the Cougars?
They were shut out twice this year, and then against Owensboro as well.
Okay,
so, yes.
But that was the first one,
correct.
Though. And I think I remember at the beginning of the year I asked you, how will we be able to measure if this season is successful? And you mentioned there was a stretch, Ohio County, Graves County, Owensboro. You had to go through those, and if you could get 2 out of 3 of those, then you would say, well, successful.
Because you'd be hosting a home playoff game then.
That's right. But they only got 1 out of 3 of those. The Graves County game wasn't even really competitive, but I think the takeaway from the previous matchup was Grayson County just didn't play very well for maybe the first time in the season.
No. In fact, Graves County's coach was saying on their coach's show earlier this week, he said that was the best game, offense and defense, that they played the entire season. And he said, I think that was the worst game Grayson County has played all season, and I think Brian Jones would probably say the same thing. It was ugly. There's no other way to describe it.
Well, they got punched in the mouth for the first time, and I remember leading into that game, there was a lot of accolades going on, and how many yards they were putting up, and how few points they were allowing, and I think maybe they started to read some of their own accolades, and then they got into a real war and went, oh wait. this is harder than I thought.
And I really do say that game, if you go back to early in the second quarter, it was 3-0 Graves County. And Grayson County had it 4th down and 1 inside the 5-yard line. And Graves County stopped them. I really do think that if they would have picked up that first down and scored a touchdown, would they have won? Probably, maybe not. I think Graves, it was their night. They played really well. But 7-3 is a whole lot different than 3-0, especially after getting all of that momentum. And it shifted into Graves County, and they did not let it up at all.
I was surprised to learn, this tonight will be the 5th matchup. So you've got 4 previous meetings between these two. And in my mind, I don't know why I had allowed myself to think that Grayson County, Graves County matchups are always competitive, because they're not. 2 of the previous meetings between these two have been lopsided in Graves County's way. One of them was competitive, and then Grayson County was pretty convincing, I guess, in their first meeting. But Graves County has had the edge on Grayson County in their previous 4 meetings.
So in the 2 of the meetings were blowouts in Graves County's way. One of them was a blowout in Grayson County's way, and one of them was played in a monsoon, and Graves County kind of eked it out. So I don't know.
21-10.
21-10. So I think you take that and you throw that one away.
Yeah.
Graves County's coach said it on their coach's show, and I completely agree with him. He does not think that they are 45 points better than Grayson County.
Nor do I.
No, I don't either. That shocked me when that happened, but I think it was just one of those things that one thing after another, and the wheels completely fell off, and Graves County scored a touchdown on a play with 1 second left in the first half. It was just kind of one of those things that everything that could have gone right went right in Graves County's way, and everything that could have gone wrong went wrong in Grayson County's way, and that's what's led you to the 45-0 score.
I know you will talk to Coach Jones later and kind of get a better feel of what the week has been like, what preparations have been like. But ahead of that, do you have any sense of how they've been able to prepare? They've been transitioning back to NTI or distant learning in some way, and the recommendation is, hey, stay away from one another. But how do you practice and prepare for a playoff game in those types of conditions? Do you have your finger on the pulse of what's been happening?
They've been practicing like normal this week, last week, and I think a little bit the week before that as well. Well, I don't know. I can't even keep up with weeks, but they have had 2 full weeks of practice for this game that's coming up tonight. So they've gotten back into the swing. The big glaring thing is they haven't played a game since October the 23rd. Yeah. At the same time, though, Graves hasn't played a game since October the 30th. So both teams are coming in rusty, and that can mean anything. You never know what that could mean on both sides.
Sure, and you also don't know, about people being ruled by emotion. You got high school kids, and their world is obviously in transition and not sure what's going to happen. You got kids that are involved in winter sports that now their schedule's being moved around, and so you just don't, you can flip a coin basically and know what you're going to get. Now, I kind of want to use that as a jumping point over to the KHSAA meeting earlier this week. Are you surprised? So for those that don't know, let's just go ahead and say the KHSAA decided to shove basketball season back to at least January the 4th. So we know that's on the horizon. Are you surprised then with that decision that they are still pursuing a high school football playoff series that will last 3 to 4 weeks? No.
There's a couple of reasons. First one is the stark difference, obviously, is football's outside, basketball's inside. That's a big difference, that obviously there's more room to spread out at a football field so fans can come and so on.
Unless you're an offensive lineman.
Now, that is true. That is true. The second one, it is playoffs. I think that does. And then there's the third one that, you can show it here in the camera. There's this thing called money, and the KHSA needs it, and they need playoffs to make money.
Let's just be clear. The championships generate money for the Kentucky High School Athletic Association. The regular seasons do not.
And the big one that they lost last year was the Sweet 16. The Sweet 16 pays for everything for them. That's the biggest event of the year, and they lost that completely. They got in, 4 games maybe?
Girls games, which isn't the same revenue producer that the boys tournament is. And
they need to figure out ways to make up that revenue.
And I know we believe that, but let me ask you, Sam. I don't think that you possibly know this, but Has anyone ever asked if the KHSAA has business interruption insurance? A lot of businesses and entities do. So we look back and think, oh, well, the KHSAA is operating without the revenue from these championships. Are they really?
Well, no, Julian Tackett, he had said that they got a PPP loan and all of that a lot of businesses got. But you were looking at they listed during their meeting their revenue section, and they spent all the time talking about how much money they're making and so on. But, I mean, they did lose a lot of money when it comes to that. I think it would be, their big worry would be if they would lose this year's Sweet 16 as well. That would be devastating, I think, to them.
It would be further compounded.
Correct.
Because it's a pretty big organization, but it's an interesting organization in the sense as well that it really operates autonomously from scrutiny. I mean, it's a membership organization that the member schools in the state of Kentucky participate in and agree. It's a little like
and
the NCAA
pay money to,
and pay money to and share revenues with, etc. But really, there's not anyone that who's their boss. The only way
because they're a quasi-governmental agency.
That's right, and
which
so
means
they receive no tax revenue, but they're not controlled by the legislature.
They're a offshoot of the Kentucky Department of Education. So if there's one person that could, it's kind of that, but at the same time...
But wait a minute, though. That tether, though, that exists between those two is very
They're like
thin.
second cousins, twice removed kind of thing.
That's exactly
They're related, but they're really not.
All right, so get to see the game tonight?
Yes, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock, K105, K105 Digital Productions as well. You'll be able to watch it. Hopefully it doesn't go as bad as our past 2 trips to Mayfield.
Yeah. Louisville and Syracuse play tonight. So when the Cougars run up the score on Graves County and you get tired of, like President Trump says, when you get tired of winning, you can flip over to the U of L game, which will be on ESPN, and hopefully they'll be winning as well. I would like to also hope that the UK Wildcats would win tomorrow at Tuscaloosa, but I won't be holding my breath for that, but I'm optimistic and always.
If you have no expectations, you can't be disappointed.
That's right. Always go
Very
Cats.
good.
And finally, this segment, I think this is a good question for all of us to ask. Maybe not each other, but ask ourselves internally. Are you a good person or are you a bad person?
I'd like to think I'm a good person.
The internet has decided there is a way to determine if you're a good person or a bad person, and it has to do with a shopping cart.
Oh.
If you put your shopping cart in the designated shopping cart collection area in the parking lot, you're good.
I do.
Yes.
I do. Yes.
If you leave it to drift off into parking spots
or into other cars,
you're bad.
Yeah, right?
That's right.
Terrible.
So I know that it sounds simplistic, but it is not simplistic because your choices you make about your abandoned shopping cart
It says a lot about
impact
you.
many people that you may not realize. First, it impacts the worker at the store.
Yeah, who's got to go?
Who has to go
Retrieve
collect
those.
them. And there are people who are responsible for going and retrieving them from the cart corral that we're supposed to return them to, and then they drive them back into the store. It also impacts the number of people who, the next generation of shoppers who are coming in. It impacts people like Sam, who got a door ding.
I did.
Yeah. Is it from a shopping cart?
I don't know.
Do you know?
But
Most likely.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I saw it yesterday. And
yeah,
I thought,
been there.
"Ooh."
It's been there for a while.
Yeah. Well, you typically don't park to my left.
Was I parked? Oh, I was. Yes.
Yes. So I
correct.
saw. I was like, "Ooh, Sam's got a bad door ding there."
Yes, I know. I noticed that, and it was kind of. And my dad, he noticed it right away too, and I was like,
Yep.
I know, it drives me nuts.
Yes, it's because people are being inconsiderate.
Mm-hmm.
They either park too close or they swing the door open or whatever. But anyway, we're talking about shopping carts. All right. So what you do with your shopping cart? So like at Olson's Mercantile, there's not a cart corral. I take my shopping cart all the way back in the store
So do I.
if I need
Every
one.
time.
It's not like it's far.
No, it's
Right.
it's not very far. There are people who are older and not as mobile, and it may be harder for them to get their cart across the parking lot to the cart corral. But guess what? That's when people like us come along and say, can I get your cart for you?
Yeah.
Or I'm taking my cart back to the cart corral. Can I get your cart while I'm going there?
Put them together.
Put them together. They're easily rolled. So it is interesting socially how something so simple kind of helps you decide whether you're a giver or a taker in the world. You know?
I really believe it tells a lot
Yeah,
about a person.
something as simple as the shopping cart can tell you a whole lot. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got plenty more on the way here on In the Know.
This holiday.
Over the middle, wide open, touchdown, Grayson County. Hands it off to Woodcock. He gets across the left side. He's got the first down and more. Across the 30. He sidesteps one man inside the 20, inside the 15. He's inside the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars. Woodcock Decker's going to keep this himself. He gets a big block across the right side. He is a hole. Across the 30, outside the numbers, inside the 20, and he's pushed out of bounds. Man, and it is intercepted by Hunter Toms at the 40-yard line. Across the 50, Toms brought down at the 45. It's a handoff to Woodcock. He's up across the left side into the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars! He has a hole across the 30, across the 20, inside the 10, 5, touchdown. Cougars, Kaylor Decker.
Is a tough part of our job. When you're driving Kentucky roads, there's so much out of your control. What we do have control over is wearing a seatbelt. Less than 2 seconds. That's all the time it takes to buckle up. Why do we enforce seatbelt laws? It's not about writing tickets. It's about saving lives.
A message from law enforcement officers across Kentucky and the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
The 2021 Honda Pioneer lineup is here to make light work of the job and add a heavy dose of fun to your day off. Every Pioneer side-by-side is stock full of smart technology, responsive power, and Honda's hallmark of engineering excellence. The only thing left to add is you. Then you'll understand how life is better on a Honda. For your safety, read the owner's manual, wear a helmet and eye protection, always wear your seatbelt, and keep the side nets and doors closed. Pioneers are for drivers 16 years and older.
It's time to make important decisions about your Medicare prescription drug coverage. The Kentucky State Health Insurance Assistance Program provides free, unbiased guidance in selecting a Medicare Part D or Medicare Advantage plan. If you have questions or need help, the Kentucky State Health Insurance Assistance Program can guide you through the enrollment period, which ends December 7th. More information is available about Kentucky SHIP or how you can volunteer at 1-877-293-7447. That's 1-877-293-7447.
Tomorrow.
Touchdown! 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 Kentucky! 1, 2, 3,
Coach Stoops and the Cats travel to Tuscaloosa to take on the top team in the West.
We're going to turn it on.
Alabama Crimson Tide and your Kentucky Wildcats.
The Cats on K105 are brought to you by the Sicilian Bank. Tune in to Countdown to Kickoff 1 p.m. tomorrow on K105.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. It will be breezy as clouds continue to take over our skies. Highs into the 60s for those of you further to the south, but we'll see 50s further to the north. Tonight falling down into the 40s and 50s as we watch a few isolated showers across our region. A better rain chance Saturday and then Sunday. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrews.
Did you know the game Yahtzee got its name because it was invented by a couple on their yacht?
I had no idea.
I actually want to say I have heard that before.
So it was kind of, it makes sense. So they changed the spelling of it a little bit. They pulled the C out of it. The game Yahtzee is just Yahtzee.
Didn't Mark Stoops invent that?
Yeah, they do they do enjoy the game Yahtzee in Lexington when they get a when they get a prize recruit. And we talked about playing Yahtzee back earlier in the fall, but we never got around to playing it. I'm not even sure I can tell you immediately. Is it a dice game?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know that. I couldn't
Yes.
tell you how you get it. Is it when all of them match that it's a Yahtzee?
It's very similar to like Full House, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind.
Okay.
It's all the dice roll.
Yeah, I've played, but I've forgotten of it. Oh, and you've got to check. You got to
Yes.
get a certain number.
So you have a card
I got
similar
you.
to like a bingo card,
So it's
but
elements of bingo
Yes.
and
You
dice.
You got to do math, and that's
yeah, which is where I really struggle.
I was told there would be no math.
Yes.
Julianne and Derek Huff will host ABC's Wonderful World of Disney Magical Holiday Celebration. I think they'll do a fine job. I got to tell you, they had 2 different numbers back in May in the Disney Family Sing-Along that they did during the pandemic, was singing along with the Disney classics, and they did the choreography and the video to a couple of Disney classics. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious was one of them, and the level of production that they put into it was just amazing. And of course, being on Dancing with the Stars, obviously they're great dancers, but I was floored. I was watching it with the fam, because that's what it's designed to do, is watch and sing along. And I was watching Derek and Julianne Huff, and I was like, wow, I am
they
super
did a great job.
impressed with that. So they will be
High level.
They will host the event on Thanksgiving, November 26th, kicking off the night with a glittering new holiday performance. And I believe Trevor Jackson will be hosting from the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. And by the way, I just heard today, park hopping is returning to Walt Disney World January 1st. So there's been no park hopping since they reopened. That doesn't really mean anything to us today, but
Not today.
it's a sign of things that are more like normal, so that's good. Speaking of Disney, the most recent Pirates of the Caribbean movie, 2017's Dead Men Tell No Tales, made nearly $800 million at the box office, but that was a big drop from the billion-dollar grossing film that was right before it, which was Stranger Tides. And so now they're getting ready. Disney is going to make at least 2 more pirate movies, and one of them is going to be girl power based, starring Margot Robbie. Now, I became a big Margot Robbie fan this year, thanks to Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't particularly like Quentin Tarantino, but I watched this movie. It has Leonardo DiCaprio, and it had Brad Pitt in it, and then she is one of the characters in. And the movie, I like the movie so much, and her performance in it, that I'm all of a sudden a Margot Robbie fan. So I will be excited to see Margot Robbie meets Disney meets Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes,
She's
thank
really
you.
pretty.
Yes, sign me up. Thank you very much.
It'll be weird not to have Johnny Depp.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow. It's
Captain Jack. It's Captain Jack Sparrow. Sam,
Mhm. Oh,
don't
yes,
forget.
I'm sorry.
Captain Jack. It's not just Jack Sparrow. Taylor Swift has switched it up. So if you're watching with us, Taylor Swift now has bangs again. And her fans think that this is an Easter egg. So if you've been following entertainment news, you'll realize that Taylor Swift's masters were sold yet again. Scooter Braun sold her masters to another company for, I don't know, $300 million or something. She can't get her hands on her masters. So she has decided to go re-record all of her older albums. And so her fans think that this is an Easter egg, that she's re-recording her Red album from 2012 because she's got the same exact hairstyle that she had in 2012.
I just can't.
No, you're still out on Taylor
I'm
Swift.
sorry. I cannot stand her.
I have no strong opinion towards her. So she's fine. I mean,
All right.
I don't dislike. I don't.
And I am super excited about the made-for-TV golf special. Tiger Woods and his son Charlie taking on John Daly and his son. This will be an epic matchup.
I had no idea this was even happening.
No, but I love this idea so much.
I saw a snippet of this
This
earlier.
is going to be so good. Made for TV. This is going to be awesome. And I don't even know for sure when it's going to... Oh, December 17th through 20th.
Oh, multiple days.
Yeah. So part of the championship PNC Championship in Orlando. So, yes, I will be tuned in to watch that. Go Team Woods. Got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the week here on In the Know.
How busy is your life right now? Silly question, right? Who isn't racing from one place to another and scrambling to get the next thing checked off their to-do list? Most of us justify all of that busyness by telling ourselves we're doing good things. And we probably are. But without balance, good things can often be the enemy of the best things, like our relationships. Have you ever read your children a bedtime story when your mind was still preoccupied with work? I have. You'll skip over pages, and you probably won't get the animals' voices just right. My kids noticed, and yours will too. And don't think you're fooling your spouse either. They can tell when you're too distracted to listen to them share about their day or to engage in some other important conversation. Like everybody else, I have a lot of responsibilities clamoring for my time, and I'm not always in the moment with the people right in front of me as much as I ought to be. But I'm working on it. I'll never do it perfectly, but I believe it's important to keep trying. A listening ear or a simple word of encouragement can make a big difference to my children, to my wife, and even to my coworkers. I don't suppose any of us can live a stress-free life, but most of us can do a better job of keeping our lives balanced so we can focus on what's most important in our lives, like the people right in front of us. For more to help your family thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
The wake up early, do a little studying, take the dog out, finish that audiobook until the very end. Finish that workout, then stop by McDonald's for breakfast and somehow manage to do it all before that 10 a.m. meeting meal. There's a meal for every morning at McDonald's.
Like a savory sausage biscuit and hash browns bundle or sausage McMuffin and hash browns bundle for just $2 each. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meals.
Core-Mark Kentucky has immediate job openings for night warehouse shifts. If you're highly motivated, seeking a family-friendly environment, Core-Mark Kentucky has full, part, and temporary time positions available with competitive wages, incentives, benefits, vacation, and a fun work atmosphere. Core-Mark Kentucky offers you a 4-day work week. That's 3 days off a week. Call a recruiter now at 270-259-9341 or apply online at careers.coremark.com. Core-Mark is an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Trooper Northern with the Kentucky State Police. When working traffic in Kentucky, responding to crashes involving injuries or fatalities is a tough part of our job. When you're driving Kentucky roads, there is so much out of your control. What we do have control over is wearing a seatbelt. Less than 2 seconds. That's all the time it takes to buckle up. Why do we enforce seatbelt laws? It's not about writing tickets, it's about saving lives.
A message from law enforcement officers across Kentucky and the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
To rise above it all, I'm grateful for the storm, made me appreciate the sun. I'm grateful for the wrong words, made me appreciate the right one. I'm grateful for the pain.
MB's point to ponder for today. Am I the only one? Maybe many people don't realize. Transportation Cabinet changed the lighting fixtures at the byway at South Main Street recently to the borders with the reflective yellow around the outside of the traffic lights. Maybe you've not noticed.
I've never been. I couldn't tell you last time I was through there at night.
You don't have to see it at night. It's daytime, so it's reflective. So a lot of the new lighting fixtures at traffic patterns are bordered in yellow caution, and then the traffic signal is inside that frame. So imagine the yellow is like a picture frame.
I've seen those before.
Okay. All right, so they're new at South Main at the byway. But this time of year, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm old, the way the sun shines at that time of day is on the reflective of the light at the angle that the yellow is so bright, I can't see the yellow light. Do you see what I'm saying?
Following.
The reflection of the frame is so bright and yellow, I'm having trouble that time of like at 7:30 in the morning because of the angle of the sun, seeing what color the traffic light actually is. Is it green? Is it red? Is it yellow? There's a whole lot of yellow. I'm just asking if I'm the only one.
Yellow means green, right?
Yellow means hurry up.
Yeah.
Yellow means your
You
window
got-
is closing.
You got the one car rule in front of you. If the car in front of you goes, you're going too. That's what we. That's
Well, if it's a truck, if it's a truck and you say, I couldn't see the light, the truck was in my windshield, I couldn't see.
even if it's a smart car.
But anyway, but I do like the upgrade. And by the way, the turn lane is now caution turn lane. So if you miss your opportunity to turn, so they're changing out a lot of the traffic signals in Kentucky where if you you don't have to rely upon the protected turn arrow green to turn to the left, it will caution and say if if nothing's coming the other direction, it's no longer a protected left, but you can still turn left.
So like going from the byway to Clarkson.
Yes, the byway at 62 is that way, but now South Main at the byway is also that way.
Okay.
So
I
appreciate.
Good to know.
My point is, I was not complaining. I love the upgrades that they're making, but I have a hard time seeing what color the light is if you're northbound at 7:30 in the morning.
Do we need to call Chris Jesse and let him know?
I'll take care of it. I need to shimmy up there with some sandpaper and dull down the yellow reflective.
Those things are big.
Can we turn that shine down just a little bit?
Have you ever seen one of those on the ground? A traffic light? They're huge.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot bigger than you would.
So are coconuts.
Think. Yes.
Up in the tree, coconuts look small, and they hit the ground. Like, wow, it's a big coconut. On television tonight, I'm running out of time. I need to hurry, but I don't want Dennis and Sarah Cook to not know what they're watching on Hallmark this weekend. First tonight, HGTV has Holiday Crafters Gone Wild. First it was the girls, now it's the Holiday Crafters. 4 teams of craft aficionados compete to create dazzling, over-the-top Christmas decor for a $10,000 cash prize. That's tonight. That's your warm-up. Tomorrow night on Hallmark, A Nashville Christmas Carol. This sounds perfect. The Cooks are very musical.
They are.
So, Nashville's Music City. A workaholic television producer receives a visit from her recently deceased mentor who warns her that her current path leads to a dark future. A Nashville Christmas Carol on the Hallmark Channel.
Dennis is, how excited is he?
Riveting. Sunday evening on the Hallmark Channel, The Christmas House. Working through some difficult decisions, a mother and father summon their 2 grown sons home for the holidays. The Christmas House on Hallmark, starring Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
No.
How great would that be on the Hallmark Channel?
Now that would get me to watch a Hallmark.
Right.
You've got the parents who are working through some difficult decisions, and they say, we need to bring the boys home for Christmas. And they open the front door and there stand stepbrothers. Oh, it would be just wonderful.
Sign me up.
I'd watch it.
Yeah. I'd watch it. Today's highlight in history, this date in 2000, lawyers for Al Gore and George W. Bush battled before the Florida Supreme Court. In 1620, Peregrine White was born aboard the Mayflower in Massachusetts Bay. He was the first child born of English parents in present-day New England. In 1947, Britain's future queen, Prince Elizabeth, married Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, at Westminster Abbey. How far are you into season 4 of The Crown, Miss Buckles?
Oh, dear. Well, I've seen probably 3 episodes, but I've fallen asleep through all 3.
All right, I've only seen half of the first episode, but I intend to
good.
try and find it some maybe this weekend.
Yeah, it just makes me want to sleep.
In 1967, the U.S. Census Bureau's population clock at the Commerce Department ticked past 200 million. In 1985, the first version of Microsoft Windows operating system, Windows 1.0, was released this date in 1985. We've come a long way, baby. Birthdays today, Dick Smothers is 82, Joe Biden is 78, Norman Greenbaum is 78, Judy Woodruff is 74, Joe Walsh is 73. Bo Derek is 6.4 times 10. So, Bo Derek, widely known for her iconic role in the movie 10. So, I thought I would do a little math thing for you there.
I got that.
Jim Brickman is 59 today. Jim Brickman, the first concert that Christy Buckles and I ever went to see. It It's true.
It is true.
Joel McHale, born this date in 40. No, not born this date in 49. He is 49.
Is he really that old?
Joel McHale. Yeah. He's my age, born in 71. Dierks Bentley is 45 today, and Josh Turner is 43 today. Gone but not forgotten, Edwin Hubble, born this date in 1889. Robert F. Kennedy, born this date in 1925. Richard Dawson, game show host, the original game show host for Family Feud, but also on Hogan's Heroes, born this date in 1932. He probably died of a kissing disease, for all I know. He kissed everybody that came on the show on Family Feud. I don't know if you all remember that.
Oh, I'd always watch that with my grandma on the Game Show Network. We watch all the
chart toppers. 1952, Hank Williams, number one.
We gotta go pull the P road down to Bio. My Yvonne, the sweetest one, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the Bio.
Makes me want to eat jambalaya.
I do love jambalaya.
There are worse things to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Need to find something else to eat this week that's not turkey, dressing, cranberry, pumpkin, broccoli casserole, rolls. I think I covered macaroni and cheese. 1961, James Darren was number one with Goodbye Cruel World. Never heard this song before.
I think I've heard this.
Turn my whole world upside down.
Okay. Yeah. Not one of the better songs from the 60s, according to me. 1970 was the year. The Partridge Family, number one, with I Think I Love You.
This morning I woke.
And then I would be in really big trouble if I didn't include this chart topper. Well, if she found out that it was a chart topper and I didn't play it. 1988. Bon Jovi was number one with Bad Medicine.
You would be in trouble.
Leanne Rimes, How Do I Live, number one in 97. Justin Timberlake, My Love in 06. And 5 years ago today, the world was going crazy over Hello by Adele. So there you go. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today is the only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powered by Heritage Media of Kentucky, WKHG Litchfield, Kentucky, USA, 104.9 FM, the Twin Lakes.